Welcome to Ope, I Found a Weird Show. I'm Laura,
I'm Beans.
And I'm Lauren.
and we are continuing our recap of season 3 of the TV show From. Uh, this week, a special treat again. Lauren is doing the recap, and I'm very excited to see her take what happened in episode 4.
Yeah, a lot happens in this episode, so I feel like it's a jam-packed lot to talk about, but also weirdly enough, like one of the shorter recaps I've put together. So I don't know how that happened, but there's a lot that happened during the show.
Sure, we'll fill up the space.
Yeah, we do like to talk a lot, so most likely. But yeah, so I am ready if you ladies are.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is season 3, episode 4, and it is titled There and Back Again. But this is not Lord of the Rings, still in From. So we left off the last episode with the ambulance coming up to the tree across the road, and now the EMTs and the police officer are checking it out and like trying to call for assistance, get people out there to move the tree, which I don't know, I kind of thought was weird because go around. If there's a downed tree, you've got someone in an ambulance, you probably should find a faster way, but that's not important. So like Tabby obviously knows what this means and is trying to tell them that like that's not going to work when they start talking about looking for a detour, but she doesn't really do it well, and they just think she's confused and get her back in the ambulance. So back in From Land, Ethan is in the kitchen and the phone rings. Shocker, it's Thomas again, and he tells Ethan that he needs to be brave and that his mom is in trouble and is in an ambulance. Jim walks in then and asks pretty rudely, like, what's going on? And then when Ethan tells him it's Thomas, Jim takes the phone and asks who it is and says that that voice needs to leave his kids alone. The voice ominously says, like, they're not your children anymore, which, what does that mean? And then Jim rips that phone off the wall, which like some of us were saying while we were watching it, like, just get rid of the phone. But we see then that it was never connected to begin with. So it's pretty much just a prop and still getting phone calls. Typical Demon Land mysticism.
It is kind of fun that Ethan got, Ethan heard it too, so
Yeah.
it's not just in Jim's head.
Right. It is interesting seeing like more people are hearing voices across like radio waves now. So yeah, we'll see what's up with that hopefully. And Jim asks Ethan what the voice said, and Ethan tells him. And then Jim looks pretty shaken. But we get que sera, sera. So a lot of like build up in the pre.
The voice was kind of helpful this time.
Kind of until it like it's helpful to Ethan, and then when Jim starts talking to it, it like mocks him, which makes me think our friend Corvée is the voice.
Nah, she'd just be like, "Shut up, Jim."
That is true.
she wouldn't say anything else to him. Just shut up, Jim.
Yes. Yeah, but like it is pretty funny that it's like, oh, I'll be nice to this kid. I'll help him out. Tell him like be aware of the ambulance, get some help to it. But then fuck you, Jim. Those aren't your kids. Maybe it's trying to tell him you're not a good father and that's why they're not your children anymore.
Well, maybe it is Corvée.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah. So after Que Sera Sera, we go to Colony House, and they're cleaning up after the ominous bird incident from the previous episode. Nikki, the woman who was a little mean to Fatima, is cleaning the walls and tells Bacta to pick up the dead bird, and she is not going to do that. She says she doesn't want anything to do with this bad juju, and even turns to Tilly and asks if she really thought it was smart to do tarot readings in a place like this, which is exactly what we said. Like, I think Bean said, like, this might make it, like, scarily accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need that. That just seems like it's inviting bad things. But Donna comes in and she tells everyone to stop sniping at each other. Like, this is not what we need right now. And she asks Elgin if he's okay. And he says yes, but no one believes him. She doesn't. We don't. Yeah, no one believes him. He's not doing okay.
No, that poor boy.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Fatima is downstairs, basically doing like a checkup with Mary, making sure everything's going okay. And she's like, we don't need to be doing this, but Mary tells her that like doing this is more of like a distraction for her while Christy's out at the lake, because Christy drew the short straw. She's out at the lake. She doesn't know, or Mary doesn't know about the whole bear trap, but like everything's
Well,
cool.
and I think Christy was going to volunteer to go anyway because of Kenny.
Yeah, I think so too. And Fatima is like telling her, "Oh, I'm sure they'll be fine. They have shelter, they've got talismans." Um, but she also is like, "Yeah, but if it was Ellis, I would be worried too." And during like their whole checkup, Mary tells Fatima that she looks better, she's got more color again, and seems like she is eating. And she doesn't know what she's eating, but it seems that she has found something that sits well with her. So she's pleased with this and tells Fatima to keep the baby nice and strong. You keep eating what you can. Yikes.
Rotten food. Nom.
Oof. Yeah.
Yum
Yeah,
yum.
you keep doing that, Fatima. Then we get to go see in Sarah's house. Victor is there with her, and he's telling her about how he and his sister used to play in the houses during the day, and for some reason she loved this house the most. And he tells Sarah that he came with his sister and his mom to Demonland, and he was pretty close with his sister, like she was with Nathan, but
Mm.
he didn't murder his sister. And gasps, audible gasps when he said that. Oh my gosh, no tact. Um,
Yeah, a little cold, Victor. A little cold.
but like he doesn't know social cues that well. He just says what's on his mind.
And he's
Um,
not wrong.
and he's not wrong. And Sarah has like she just takes it. She's used to it at this point. Like, yeah, oof. But Victor tells Sarah that he needs to remember what he's forgotten because he needs to know why everyone died back then. Because things are changing here, and he needs to remember soon. And he tells her, this is really kind of cute. He tells her that they need to go to the basement because up here is for daytime stories, but the basement is for secrets. And I'm going to keep that in mind whenever I need to tell secrets. Got to find a basement. So back in the ambulance, we see that it's dark out now, and they're still driving. The EMTs say they want to turn around and they must be lost. They must have missed something, but Tabby tells them they've got to keep going. It's not safe to stop. There's a town coming up. And they just need to keep going. They all look at her like she's crazy, but they keep driving. Boyd and Randall are on the bus because Boyd wanted to switch places, but Randall decided to stay. And they're talking about Boyd's idea to catch one of them. And Randall says, I'm sure nothing terrible will come of that. Very sarcastically. I'm in agreement. I think we all are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boyd's challenged these things in the past. Has not worked out great. We'll see. So Boyd asks Randall why he's still there instead of the sheriff's station because he was offered like a warm bed and turned that down. And Randall doesn't really have an answer to that. But Randall does say that like regardless of how stupid the plan is, he wants to help. And if Boyd has seen the things that he's seen, he would want to help too. He says that like wherever he, Julie, and Mary were, well, whatever they've gone through in this town, he doesn't think it's the worst thing here. So we're, people are starting to talk about people being like Randall and Julie, starting to like leave little crumbs about they do remember or something did happen while they were in their dream state.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I can't imagine it was good. The only communication they had during it was just violent screaming.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, not great. I do hope we get more information on like what actually happened though, because I am curious. But Christy and Kenny are talking in their cabin in the small village where the food is, and she asks him like what he's been writing since it looked like he was writing on paper by the fire in there. And he says that in their culture, they write to the dead on high holidays, and it's for his mom. Even though it's not really a holiday, he thinks she would like it. And Christy tells him that he's not alone here. And he replies that it feels like everything that he was fighting for is gone, and everything that he was going home to is not there anymore. And he used to talk to his mom and Christy about this, but Yeah, not really anymore. And Christy says that she can still talk to him. And then Jade, who we all thought was asleep, grumbles that they could talk in the morning. But then he says fuck it and sits up and starts drinking out of his flask. And he shares it with Christy, and then asks if they want to hear something crazy. I would love to hear something crazy. And thank you for telling them the crazy things.
Right? Sharing is caring. Like, let's tell each other all of the crazy things so that we can actually try to understand something for once.
Yes.
This is why season 3 is my favorite. They're talking. I
And
just love them talking.
and I would agree with that. Like that I think is one of the things that I've been waiting for the longest. And we saw a little bit of it last season, but I feel like we're starting to see more consistent sharing of information now, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
All right. So Victor and Sarah have made a beautiful fort in the basement. I want to build that fort, to be
That
honest.
was
I want it.
top tier. That was
It was
top
so
tier
good.
fort. Yep.
That's like
The
my
only
first thing I said is, "That's a great fort."
Yeah. I think I said the only thing missing was just like a pile of pillows in it. That would be perfect. But yes, beautiful fort in the basement. And then Victor tells her about the night his family died and seeing all the bodies in the morning. And he said that that was the day he met the boy in white, and tells her that the boy was his only friend for all of those years that he was alone. He also couldn't bury all of the bodies. He was like, what, 10, something around there? But the boy told him that he could instead bury things, so like things that were precious to those people, and that would work instead of burying their bodies.
If he didn't bury the body,
Fatima
Oh,
ate them.
like, yeah, I mean, because that's like, did the monsters do a cleanup the next day? What happened to the bodies then?
Maybe it was more of like an over time he was able
Yeah,
to move them, but like, or like he might have just moved them elsewhere and then they decomposed, or like the monsters ate them. I don't know.
big pile of bones over in one corner of town that we just haven't
God.
seen.
It's in another semi truck. It's just filled with bodies. Oh god, I feel like that would be more effort than burying them.
Right.
Digging the holes is a lot, but like trying to lift them up into a truck would be rough.
To be so honest, if I'm like a 9, 10-year-old child and I'm Victor in this moment, they are not getting individual graves. It's gonna be one big mass grave. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm with you there. That's a lot to do. But also he could put them in a pile and burn them.
true, true. I mean, he also, like, at the way back in season 1, started digging all those graves because he was just getting ready. I'm like, Victor's dug some graves before.
Oh, I guess like we never saw those graves again. I assume those were used for the Colony House massacre.
They were.
Did he dig just enough for that? That's
I don't know. I know
hmm.
he wasn't done digging when we
Yeah.
saw the lineup. I don't think it was 14 of them yet.
Yeah. Oh well. Um So yeah, he was told he could bury things instead, and so that's what Victor has in the suitcase that he dug up. And he thinks that these things can help him remember. Sarah asks, why are they there? And Victor is like, because it's a fort. It's like a very just like matter of fact, like a duh. Why? What do you mean? And then she asks, like, why does he need her? And Victor says that he doesn't want to do this alone, and he might have some scary things to remember. And Sarah is the scariest person in town, so it won't scare her. He's really digging the knife in on Sarah with first like the murder comment and then this, but also like it's like a little boy trying to go to someone that he sees as like a strong force,
Yeah. I
needing
think
like that reassurance. Yeah.
you can kind of see that, like, Sarah's catching strays here. She's just like, oof, a little bit in the soul with these
Yeah.
comments, but she's still like, I will be strong. I deserve these things that are being said to me. Like,
Right. And she knows that he needs someone. Like she can see that.
yeah.
And I think she sees this as part of her redemption of like I need to be there for him.
And
But
she's full redemption arc so far this
yeah.
season. That's if she can be helpful, because that's all she's ever wanted to do is be helpful. She just chose the wrong kind of help, and so it fits her character.
Yeah. Agreed. So on the bus, Randall is starting to act like very nervous, jittery. He tells Boyd that like something's wrong and the monsters aren't doing what they normally do. He says they've got routines because he's been watching them. But tonight they're not there. And he like lists off a couple of the routines. Like one of the nurses comes to the door. Like he says her first stop every night is the bus, and she'll like tap on the window and hum at him. And he goes through like a few other monsters, and Boyd even asks like, "Why are you watching them?" And he doesn't have TV. What else is he gonna do? No window shades, which he could have fixed, but he didn't. Whatever. But yeah, so tonight the monsters aren't there. So what is happening? Then we see in the ambulance, Tabby's starting to panic. Well, not really starting to. She's continuing to panic and telling them to stop once they see the town. But the driver says, no, we're not going to stop in the middle of nowhere. And then we see Boyd seeing the ambulance, Boyd and Randall both seeing it, and they're very confused. And then we see Ethan see the ambulance out of the window and scream that it's his mom and runs out of the house. Second episode where Ethan runs out of the house in the middle of the night. We don't love to see that.
Yeah. They got to get some like latches on the top of those doors that he can't reach. 'Cause that
Or
boy be
put him on a
doing
leash.
Yeah, right?
No, get one of those backpacks.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. He just is loose child constantly. But Boyd, Randall, and Jim do like corral him back into the house. But he's like still freaking out. Like, what if his mom is there? And the ambulance keeps going. They refuse to stop when Tabby asks them to, but it keeps going until it comes across what we know as a familiar body in the road. And they stop. Obviously, they're emergency services. They want to go check on that body, see if it's someone that needs help. But Tabby is screaming that it is not a person and they're all going to die. And the police officer decides that the best way to like calm her down or just to keep her contained is to handcuff her inside the ambulance to like something in the ambulance. She's handcuffed, cannot leave the ambulance. And then we see the EMTs go to check out the body, like try to roll it over and see it turns into the monster form and slashes both of them. We have no new. Oh, sorry.
Can we just say that that bitch is the police officer lady? Like, I understand she's trying to do her, but like, I don't know, man. Her lack of awareness drove me nuts in like this, where I get she's trying to calm down somebody freaking out, but like her situational awareness is not there.
Kind of, but also like, what is she supposed to be situationally aware of right now? Because all she's going off of is like, oh, we're kind of lost. We need to figure out how to get the injured people, the guy who's still passed out in the back of the ambulance, to a hospital. There's a body in the middle of the road. And then there's a lady who ran away from a hospital, is been acting crazy since the moment she was found, like spouting off things that make no sense.
That's like, true. Okay. I will give her a little grace.
You were defending Boyd handcuffing Jade in the first episode, so you can't say that this is not.
Jade was high.
Yeah, but
and it was not nighttime.
But she doesn't know.
She doesn't know. Okay.
I think that this is honestly, with her level of knowledge about anything going on, aka 0 level of knowledge, working on like outside normal world knowledge, understanding of things, I think that her reaction is kind of normal, kind of expected.
Okay.
I'm sorry I had to side with her because I don't want to. Because I'm also annoyed. I'm like, damn it, listen to Tabby. But also in any other show, I'd be like, that's a crazy person. Don't listen to them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Like if I were one of the EMTs, I'd be like, you need to handcuff her because she's going to get one of us hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah. So she does see the monster form though, and sees it attack them and is just like, what the fuck? But we don't have any new medical personnel anymore. I was pretty excited, but yeah, I guess we can't have like 4 helpful medical personnel.
We can't have nice things.
No, we have the ambulance. That's all we get. Cool.
Whatever. Tabby did bring medical supplies.
Yes, yeah, whatever. It's fine. So we do see the officer terrified, and she's trying to shoot the monster, but obviously nothing happens. We know it wouldn't, and she runs away. Leaving.
This isn't that bitch moment then.
This
Because
is, but like also, she's terrified.
police officer, and she just handcuffed somebody, and there's a passed out person in the vehicle, and she's just
Yeah,
gonna leave these people to these monsters. That's a
it's
that
called
bitch moment.
self-preservation, Laura.
Sounds like
She's
my county's idea of protect and serve.
No. Oh no. Like I can understand her reaction. Like she's trying to kill these things. They're not going down. Like in her mind, she's like, okay, normal situation. You shoot the person causing chaos. They're like literally murdering people in front of you and stopping them from hitting you, but it's not working. So she got a bolt. But yeah, she does leave Tabby and Henry both restrained in that ambulance. So back in the house, Jim says that he has to go. If there's any chance it's Tabby, he has to. There's like no question. And he leaves. He runs out of the house. And Boyd stays back for a moment to do the good parenting thing to
Parental
tell
thing.
Julian, yes, to tell Jim's children to not leave the house. Like whatever it is, you stay in that house because if you leave, they might be distracted and mess up because they're trying to keep them safe. So stay in the house, promise me you're going to do it, and they agree. And he goes after them. So Jim makes it to the ambulance and reunites with Tabby. Yay! He's obviously shocked. How is this possible? But other things to worry about. So Boyd and Randall also show up and are also shocked. Everyone's just shocked a lot this episode and every episode, but yeah.
again, she showed up with a vehicle, which means she got out, which
Yeah,
would be crazy to
right.
everybody else who thought she was still wandering around in the woods somewhere.
Yes. But they contain their shock and get into rescue gear. They need to get them freed and get to safety, but Boyd doesn't have like a handcuff key on him, so Randall says he's got tools on the bus and goes to get them. Back at Colony House, they see a runner on the hill and start ringing the bell. They've got their protocol. And we see it's the police officer who is still being chased by the original monster, and then we see more monsters are coming up from different angles. And she starts shooting at them. Unfortunately, though, one of her shots misses and goes through the window and hits Nikki and hits her in the abdomen. Um, People in the colony house, though, they're quick. They start boarding the window immediately, and thankfully Mary's still there, so she starts some emergency. Honestly, it's just emergency surgery on Nikki because the bullet is still in her. So she just starts getting to work on her. They let the officer in, and she sees that she's shot somebody and is freaking out, like trying to eh, come up with excuses for how it could have happened, but she's just panicking. She's like spewing off all of the information that has happened to her today, like cannot calm down. But Donna gets her to stop and asks her what happened. So then we see Randall is headed back to the ambulance. He's got the tools and he also grabbed the amulet or the talisman, whatever you want to call it. Um, but we see they've like kind of formed a line between him and the ambulance. He cannot get there. So he like tries to wield the talisman like a cross against a demon or like a vampire and like holds it up and is like, get back. But the monsters just laugh at him and are like, it doesn't work like that, sweetie. Uh, so he just like throws the toolkit to Boyd and turns to head back to the bus. But unfortunately, he sees the cicadas again, and he cannot get past this. He just like falls on the ground, writhing is the right word for it. Just like kind of freaking out, covering his face, trying to get the bugs off of him. Boyd doesn't see this. He's like given the tools to Jim and realizes they need to move quickly. Like there's still monsters all around. So he's trying to find the keys to the ambulance so they can just get further away from the monsters while they work to get everybody out. But he can't find them. And then we see behind them a monster is dangling the keys, and she tells them that he can have the keys, but they get to keep Randall. They're just playing mind games with Boyd constantly.
Mhm.
And we see Randall is already surrounded by monsters. So Boyd makes the decision to grab the keys and book it.
Which
But the whole
was the right decision.
it was. Like what were they supposed to do? Randall was on the ground surrounded by monsters. It was either everybody dies or you take the keys and go.
Yeah. Like, they weren't just going to, okay, your choice, you're going to choose Randall? Okay, well, we're going to kill everybody else then. Like, no.
Yeah. Like, it would suck. You gotta do what's best. But yeah, so he does grab the key and starts the car, but the whole time he is just yelling "fuck you" over and over at the monsters, which was pretty funny to watch. Felt bad, but also it was really funny. And as he's starting the car, getting it going, Randall comes back to reality. He realizes what's happening and he is yelling after them like, "Please don't go," or like, you motherfuckers, you're leaving me." He's not pleased. And I do feel bad for him. A little bit. A little tiny
I
bit of
did.
me feels
I
bad for
did just
Randall.
a little bit. Just a little bit I
'Cause
felt
that
bad for
sucks.
him. Yeah.
The
He sucks, but
only
this still sucks.
Yeah, the only thing that maybe Boy could have done was like slap that thing in reverse and pop a couple monsters. But
That's what I said. I was like, run some over. Like, it's not gonna end well either way.
no.
They'd have got him long before he could have even put it in gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we see back with Mary, the surgery's going okay, getting the bullet out of Nikki. They get it out, and then we see the ambulance pull up outside. And Boyd, Jim, and Tabby are able to get Henry into the house. And once again, everybody is shocked to see Tabby back from the dead. And then we see the officer inside comes up, uncuffs Tabby, and then Tabby's just like, "I fucking told you." But like, again, you didn't believe anybody when you were first here. So like
Yeah.
it's like really tough because like Tabby's right to be mad, but also the officer's right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
It,
No, you're right. I will give the tiniest amount of grace to this lady in this moment. I still don't like her.
Yeah, I don't blame you because like it is frustrating like having that information and having people not believe you. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Donna tells them that like she'll get them a room. They'll get settled for the night, but there's always a room for them at that place. People might be sleeping on couches, sleeping on the stairs, but there's always a room for the Matthews family.
She gave him the first nighter room. I don't know where they're going to put the cop. They're going to restrain her.
Right. She might not need restraints after that.
Yeah.
All right. So then we see Tilly and Elgin are in the kitchen, and she says she feels bad for Fatima. Because what if the bird was a sign? Which, I mean, it felt like a sign.
It
You
felt
think
like a
that
sign.
it might have been a sign?
Maybe. But then Elgin, poor Elgin, he sees that woman again in the doorway, the one that had tried to drown him in his dream. And he asks if he's awake, and Tilly's like, yeah, I think. But he appears to be awake, and the woman starts to walk away. And Elgin, God, he's brave. He follows her. He keeps going. And she like stops in a hallway a little ways away and turns around and actually walks towards him with her arm raised, asking him for help. Very different than trying to murder him. Don't know what's going on with her.
This would have been the first time that we know of that he might have seen her while he was actually awake, because everything else was while he was sleeping.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Interesting. Okay. So, now to Julie and Ethan. They're still at home. They actually stayed inside. I'm proud of Ethan. And Ethan asks her, like, what if they don't come back? And Julie says that they will. And he just starts asking her about what happened to her because she's been different ever since she fell asleep. And Julie says she's fine, but Ethan calls her on her bullshit. And she says that she's been really scared and saw things that she doesn't really understand or even remember. She's just more scared than she's ever been, and she hasn't told anyone but him. She's trying to be okay though, and he wants to help her. He says that if their parents don't come back, it'll just be the two of them, and so they need to take care of each other. So that's really sweet. He's like,
Yeah.
you don't need to be my parent. We can just be kind of partners in this.
Yeah.
Even though he is the child by a big margin. Like, she probably would end up taking care of him more than the opposite, but like, yeah. It is sweet knowing that like he wants to help.
Right, and it's good that they both have some support. And
Yeah.
it's not just all on her to like, because it would be different. I mean, if he didn't have this mindset where he was just like, I do need to be taken care of, like I'm not gonna. But instead, he for his age, is very self-aware of the situation and very grown up in it and understands like, hey, I got to help you out too. And I love that for
Yeah.
Ethan.
Yeah. Yeah. So back in the cabin, with Kenny, Christy, and Jade, Jade has told them all about his hallucinations. He also tells them about how Tien Chen took care of him when she first saw him freaking out and like showing him the journal with the symbol. And he had thought that he was smart enough to figure this place out, but fucking hell. Like, yeah, no one is smart enough to figure this place out,
Yeah.
basically. Kenny then tells Jade that Tien Chen really liked him. And Jade's like, no, she just tolerated him. And Kenny tells him no. Tien Chen only frowned at people that she liked. She just ignored the rest, which I love her for that.
Like, you know what? Queen. That's I might have to try to adapt that. That's
Right?
wonderful.
Love that. And we all know that she loved Jade. She
Yeah.
did.
She
Yeah.
she fully adopted that young man.
And they bonded over like so many little things. Like, yeah. No, she fully loved him. So then suddenly we hear some thuds against the cabin again. Like similarly to when Kenny was there with Jim. And Christy asks if he, like Jade, is sure that those things were hallucinations. Oof, creepy.
Don't
I'm sure
love
it's just the
that.
effigies. No need to worry.
Yeah, no, do not love that. I agree, Beans. Mm-mm.
I hate it. I hate it. But now we see a young Victor walking through the bodies, collecting items from them, and it cuts between that and his current self holding the items. So, like, we see him holding the item and then, like, him picking it up from a body. It's just cutting between the two. And he gives a little anecdote about the people there and, like, the items, but realizes that there's nothing from Christopher in the suitcase. He tells Sarah about Christopher and how he started getting scary. Uh, then he just starts panicking, which we've seen many times with Victor, like whenever he remembers something scary. But he says he doesn't want to do this anymore. And Sarah calms him down, reminds him that she's the scariest person here. So it's okay. And he says he knows what's missing. And then we see flashbacks to that ventriloquy doll that we've seen, Jade has seen, and we see it being used by Christopher. And Victor says that that doll's name was Jasper. I don't love a doll with a name. Freaks me out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Can it be a ventriloquy doll without a name though? They have to have a name.
Again, I don't like dolls with names, Laura. That still stands.
I
Which
name
basically means I don't like all of
everything.
them.
I name everything.
Let's just say I don't like dolls. Freak me out.
That's fair. Dolls are kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then we see Boyd is kind of freaking out. He's just like going on about how he tried to save everyone, but what was Tabby doing there? And then we see Tabby and Jim together. Tabby tells Jim about the tower, and she apologizes for going. Realizes that like, oof, that did not go well. But he tells her that she had nothing to be sorry about, and all that matters is that she is back and safe. He is so thrilled that his wife is stuck in Demonland again.
Right.
She well, I mean, to be fair, I think he's just glad that they're all together. She's not dead.
I think he's just
But
glad to not
the
have
way
to
he
be
said it was
primary
funny.
parent anymore.
No, he's got Julie as that.
Yeah,
True.
that's what just the teenage daughter's for. Oh, but he is. I think he's just because they've all been, especially with Ethan, being like, so mom's dead, and like her body's out there, and
Her skeleton.
yeah, poor mom's skeleton. So like, I think Jim's just finally like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with that anymore.
No more questions on who's gonna bury her. Yeah. But Tabby's worried. She's like, what if that was the only chance to go home? And then we suddenly hear like a loud moaning sound, is the best way I can describe it. And we see that Nikki is like awake, but she's coughing up blood. And Mary says she's got internal bleeding and tries to save her, but there's nothing she can do, and Nikki dies. So this calls into play that number theory that's been going on of someone shows up, someone dies.
That was the first thing I said when Nikki died. I was like, see, it's a numbers game. Freaking cop, it should have
Yeah.
been you.
No, but maybe, yeah. I don't know. Nikki wasn't that high on my list of people to save anyway, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Yeah.
moving on. Um, Boyd does not say whatever, though. He gets pissed, and he's yelling at the officer, blaming her. But Donna steps in and is like, let's go talk in private. Like, she seems pissed at him for being pissed and just ranting. So they go up to, I think it's Donna's room, but they go into a room, and he starts going off like normal Boyd, like just trying to like talk everything out until he realizes that Donna's just crying. She has reached her limit. This is too much. And she just breaks down and asks, why is this happening? Why won't they leave them alone? She's just very scared. And Boyd hugs her and tries to comfort her. Like, he's no longer angry. It's just like, oh, too much. Too much has happened. We just got to break down in private for now. For now.
I mean, I think that says a lot, though, that, like, Donna doesn't break down in front of anybody, but she feels comfortable enough with Boyd to be like, I'm losing my shit at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and I need to let this out because otherwise I'm going to start acting like you, holding all the shit in, yelling at people for no reason, which I kind of do sometimes anyway, but
Oh my god. That's just like whoever said that to Seraph, I don't want to end up like you.
yeah, Julie.
Julie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah. That's Donna's like I don't want to end up like you, Boyd.
Yeah. You keep trying to save people and end up killing people. Oops.
Yeah. Well, and I
Ugh.
can't imagine being somebody who feels responsible for all the other people there. And that is the mantle that Donna and Boyd have put on themselves.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
that pressure eventually boils, you know?
Well, especially in a place where like death is inevitable. Like, I mean, it is everywhere, but like violent death,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot to handle.
And especially when you get they had that time. They had that time of like it not happening. And it's you get complacent, but you also get this false sense of security of like we figured it out. And then it's just like, nope, 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 okay, nope, nope, we definitely haven't figured it out. Like, oh God,
Yeah.
when's it gonna stop?
Well, and there's also the question of like a lot of people blame all the changing on people pushing the boundaries and like pushing the rules of Demon Land. But there is the question of like, was this going to happen anyway? Like, was there a timer in this cycle? Because we've all been talking about how it feels like this is very cyclical.
Mhm.
Was there something it was going to happen anyway, or was this their fault for trying to get out?
Yeah, was this a false sense of control that
Yeah.
they never truly had? Probably.
And we'll never know. Probably, I assume.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll have to keep watching. Okay, so Victor then tells Sarah about Christopher, and like how he used to make them all laugh using Jasper, but after he saw the symbol, he didn't make them laugh anymore. He spent more and more time alone, and one day, and we see a flashback of this, he sees Christopher talking to Jasper, but like not as a doll, but like Jasper is alone on a couch talking, so like a sentient being. This is why I don't like dolls. But yeah. So he says that they need to talk to Jasper to know what happened. I don't want to talk to Jasper. I don't want to see this
I
happen.
don't want to talk to Jasper either.
I'm like, this is the one thing I'm like, I don't need to know. Like, how about you guys watch that, come back and tell me what happens?
Do you really believe though that it was the doll talking?
I
No,
have no idea.
I think it was one of the voices that we've been hearing that have become a reoccurrent thing.
Because like that's the thing with Victor's memories is that they're never fully fledged at the beginning, right? Because it's his look, sweet baby boy's brain is a little fractured.
Yeah.
We got to run some defrag on that to get the stuff back together. Um, so his memories are never fully formed in the first go. So it's one of those that it what he's seeing and what it's kind of unreliable narrator situation.
Yeah, that is true. But we've also seen this doll scream at people.
It did scream at Jade in a hallucination.
I thought it also
in a
feel like-
screamed
vision.
at someone else.
I feel like Jade handled that really well, though.
He screamed back. Yeah. No,
Screamed back at
that's,
it.
yeah. We've only seen it yell at Jade
Yeah. But
and
like,
in Victor's vision or memory.
oh, yeah, okay. But like keeping that in mind, like Jade seems to be, if this is cyclical, Jade seems to be filling the role that Christopher had had. So like if somehow Jasper was talking to Christopher. It's possible that it is now like talking to Jade.
It might be
So
trying
maybe.
to, but he processed it as a scream because he hasn't fully connected all the dots, maybe.
And he doesn't have the physical Jasper with him.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, I feel like he'd freak out if he saw Jasper. For real. I think he'd just start screaming at it. I don't want to see
He
that. I feel like we're going to, but I don't want that.
he did see Jasper once. Jade has seen the physical Jasper
I thought that was
down in the
still a
tunnels. That was not a vision. That was a real, and he was just down there. He like nothing scary happened. He was just there and it freaked Jade out.
thought Jasper's further into the tunnels, so I thought it was a hallucination still.
Nope. Nope, he did actually see him.
Are you assuming that, or do you know that because of later episodes?
Based on what we've seen so far. Like, I
Okay,
mean,
I'm going based on what we've seen so far that it was a hallucination still.
well, we know Jasper is in the tunnels though.
Yeah, but he
Because
was
Victor
further
saw
in.
him. Was he? Because they weren't that
Yeah.
far in. They had made their way out, and Jasper was one of the last kind of things they had seen.
No, it was
And
before they saw it before Tabby saw the cairn.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I
Well, we
can go
do
back and look
know
at my recap.
We do know that Jasper is in the tunnel.
Yeah. Yes. We do know he's down there. I just think he was further in there. Could be wrong, but regardless. Now we go to the worst part, my least favorite part of this episode, which is saying a lot because a lot of bad shit happened. Ellis and Fatima are like talking right outside the room where Nikki's body is, and Fatima's very upset about having been mean to Nikki the other day, and she just wants to sit with her body for a little while. And Ellis leaves her and like gives her a little kiss and walks off, and she goes into the room, sits down and uncovers Nikki's body and starts like peeling off the bandages, which seems like a little much to do if you just want to sit there and think about someone who's passed. But she looks pretty upset and then slowly starts to touch the blood and then stick a finger in the bullet wound and then more fingers. And then she like licks the blood off her fingers. Fatima,
Guess
please.
the baby's not a vegetarian.
No, I was hoping, I was like, ooh, rotten food's bad, but at least she's not going after raw meat, like human meat. Ew. But she does seem to like that taste and then gets like fervent about it, like digging into the bullet wound. I saw more than I needed to see.
Yeah, it was gross. It was
It
a
was
gross
disgusting.
scene.
Disgusting. And I was like, is she going to start knobbing on this body? Thankfully, you don't see that, but I don't have high hopes for the future of her staying not a cannibal. I don't know. It's not looking good. But yeah. So the last scene of the show, we see Boyd and Donna. They're both having like a little drink and cheersing to better fucking days. Like hopefully we have those ahead. But then they see flashing lights, and they open the window curtain to see the ambulance has the lights on, and Randall has been placed on the hood. He's got quite a bit of blood on him, and kind of looks like a chunk has been bitten off his cheek. He doesn't look good. But then he suddenly gasps and opens his eyes. So he's alive. The monsters messed with him, clearly tortured him a little, took a little nibble, but they left him alive. And this is most likely a message to Boyd and just to cause a little drama because, of course, Randall will not be happy.
Yeah, I mean, Randall's going to lose his shit and be incredibly mad at Boyd because how dare Boyd not save him from being surrounded by monsters? Yeah.
Yeah. I assume that's exactly what's going to happen, just from what we've seen with Randall.
Yeah, that's his personality. Like, how dare you not save me from this situation that is definitely not savable from? Like,
yeah. I'm like imagining if it was Kenny, because like Kenny would have been like, we've seen him in a situation like this of like, yeah, shoot me if need be. So I think Kenny would have been like, yeah, it sucked. I really hated watching that ambulance drive away, but I get it. That was the only decision you could make. There was no choice.
Yeah, absolutely. If so, Randall's screaming out, "You motherfuckers for leaving me!" Kenny would be like, "Drive." That would be what Kenny would be screaming.
Yeah, he'd be screaming,
like,
go,
get out of
go.
here, save them.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that is the end of the episode.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking?
Randall's gonna be a drama llama. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, and Fatima needs to someone needs to know about Fatima. Like, can't she just eat rotten food? Does she have to eat bodies?
I
She's a
Yeah.
chaperone for a little bit.
want to be optimistic about it, and boy, has this show punished me for that. I want to be optimistic, and because Randall, I know he's gonna be pissed. I know he is, but I hope that he takes a step back and goes, "I was surrounded. There was no getting me back." I hope. I want to be optimistic, but I'm so very pessimistic about it.
Yeah.
I think, just based on Laura's reaction to it, I don't think that's gonna happen. Because I was also like,
Yeah.
"Maybe, maybe," especially since, like, him and Boyd were having, like, a good conversation before this happened. He's like, "I wanna help, and you would too if you knew what I knew." It's like, "Oh, maybe he's gonna be, like, a pillar of society going forward."
What show are
I
you guys watching? Uh, no, but
I
I do. Don't get me wrong. Randall occasionally shows a good side. Randall ran into that basement of the falling down house. Randall saved Julie and Ethan and Sarah the other night. Like, Randall does have these moments where he's like, yes, I am going to be helpful. I am going to, give. But he's also very selfish as a person and very I you know very
Yeah.
driven.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
want
he's
to
not
think
going
the
to be
best of him.
happy.
but it's hard. It's
It's
hard.
so hard.
And then yeah, we've got Fatima and her new favorite meal for
Yuck.
I
that.
don't love hearing that.
So we'll see what comes of that. We've got well, I mean, I'm sure as everyone in the town was freaking out, we've got Tabby back. So I'm sure that's going to be everybody going, what happened? And then we've got Henry who knows his
Oh, I
Victor's
forgot about
here, but
Henry.
so that'll
Oh,
be
yeah. For a second, I
yeah.
was like, "Who's Henry?"
Victor's daddy.
My
Uh,
bad.
so, but Victor does not know he's here yet because they were down in the basement telling stories.
They're doing their secrets.
So that should be interesting. And also, Donna's losing her mind, and Christy's got a bum leg.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah,
I
we
love
do.
it. This is an action-packed season.
It sure is.
So, are you ladies ready to watch the next episode?
Oh, heck yeah.
Obviously. Always. I almost
So,
let it play earlier because it was like, "Oh, ready to watch the next show."
don't do it. Don't do
I
it.
didn't. I didn't. I restrained.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for listening to Ope, I Found a Weird Show, and we cannot wait to continue the recap next time. Bye.
Bye.